Well, today's little project, we're going to verify the setup on this EPI-SG that part-time cameraman and full-time guitar picker with mad skills in D has got here. Now we've run through this, so we've already done the setup. We're just going to check her out for you and show you how to do it and give you a little commentary as we do it. I think there's some videos on the internet already on YouTube show you how to do most of this stuff. So we're just going to kind of step through this piece by piece and give you some of the verbiage that maybe they left off. So without any further ado, we'll start with the tool layout. Well, first you'll need a guitar that you need working on, and you'll need a capo, feeler gauge, and most likely you'll need an Allen wrench of the proper size for your truss rod, baby Phillips screwdriver, probably a baby straight head. I like to have a plastic bag, Ziploc, if I take off my truss rod cover up here, because those little screws can get away from you. And another thing I like to do is I like to work on a hardwood floor if I can, because again, them little buggers can get away and I'd like to find them, and if I have carpet they're a little hard to catch up with. So if you take them out with a truss rod cover and put them in a plastic bag, they're easier to keep up with. I also need maybe a little note with your specs on you're going to use, ink pen if you want to make any changes or notes with it, and a tuner, because the first thing you want to do is tune it up. One thing I would recommend is that you do inspect the guitar before you start, particularly if you have bolt-on necks, to make sure, like this is a Chinese SG, an Epiphone, make sure that the neck is bolted on. Strats are done the same way. Check your tuners, make sure everything's in place like it ought to be. This guitar is in pretty good shape. A part-time cameraman takes good care of his equipment, with the exception of this up here. He's showing some excessive wear on the fretboard. I guess that's to be expected on a guitar that does something other than collects dust. So first thing we do is tune her up, and we'll verify a tune. For everybody who knows how to use one of these things, it's going to be very, very boring. We push the little button, turn on electronic tuner. We didn't have these back in my day. We had to do it with a tuning fork and then work off the 5th fret. So you just pluck the strings, and we should have these already done. Close enough for YouTube work. Now we're going to look at the action height. And the first thing we're going to have to do is check whether or not the neck has sufficient bend in it or too much bend in it. So the first thing we do, if we need to make adjustments, we're going to have to access the truss rod in, which is underneath the truss rod cover here. Now this one happens to be with a 4mm, or was it very close to what, 5/32 or something like that. I forget what the American equivalent to it is, but it's just a hex head, and we would turn it left or right to add or take tension off of it. The truss rod is in the neck from here to here, and it ends in this section back down this way somewhere. And what we'll do is we'll make the measurement. According to my notes, at the 1st fret we're looking for 2/64, so approximately the 15th and 16th thousand together on the feeler gauge should add up to about what we're looking for the bass E. So I would come here, stack these two blades together, and I would check the distance here. Now I'm just a little bit thicker than that, but for this particular guitar that's where we actually want it to be, because to hold the fret buzz down I can't get it quite as tight as I can say a genuine Les Paul precision made piece of equipment. This is fairly tight for an inexpensive guitar, and on the Trebby I'm looking for 15 thousandths. Now go to the 12th fret, I'm looking for 5/64 and 3/64, which is the 24, 23, and 22 blades here. These are again in thousandths. So I flip through here, 22, 23, and 24. I got my little cheat notes I got over there on the bass E. So looking at the, what did I say, 12th, which is this one with the double dots. See, we've got just a little bit more than what my little spec says, and then 23 and 22, we slide it back here. See, if I had less room in here than the blades would allow, I'd feel it when I put them under it. I'd feel the tension as they pushed under. If I had less than it, I can see daylight in between. Now, how you would adjust this is by tightening this rod. It actually pulls the back side of the neck down. It wants to tighten it out. The strings are trying to bow it up, and the truss rod will, by tightening it, will turn it down this way. Now if it's too flat, you loosen it and it will give more curvature back into it, or more neck relief. And I'll show you neck relief in the next little segment here, one video edit away. Now I will point out something here, that when you look at this, if you do not have enough distance at this fret, the more flat you make the neck, the less distance you're going to have even at the first fret. So think about that. If you take measurements and you go, oh my gosh, I seem to be too tall at fret number 1, don't think you need to rush out and buy a bunch of nut files and file your nut down, because you can never add that material back. You file them down once, you're just done. So chances are you really don't need to mess with the nut at all. So I think that explains what you need to do, although I haven't actually shown you how to do it. And that's what I wanted to add in for you. There are other videos that tell you how to do it, but they don't tell you why you need to do it. Now, on to the next segment.